Greetings fellow ukuleleans, Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new tutorial. Today I'd like to talk about up the neck chords. I only have a couple of them to show you today. There are so many, but that's a huge subject that might be a little intimidating to learn all about up the neck chords in one little tutorial. So let's just talk about two in specific. Then I want to give you some real world musical examples of them that give you kind of a reason to learn them. So up the neck chords in my mind, the way I define them, are chords that do not use open strings generally. Sometimes they might have one open string in them, or at the most two, but they're generally fully fretted chords and sometimes require more fingers than your standard open chords. When you first learn ukulele, you learn C. Only needs one finger on one string, and then the other three strings are open. A minor only requires one finger on a single string, and then the other three are open. But these up the neck chords, like the C that I was playing in that intro, it's four strings involved and you're holding down all four of them. Sometimes that requires a bar, your first or other finger covering more than one string, a bar. So we'll talk all about the techniques and the mechanics behind it, but just a little bit about the music. That tune that I was playing, I was just improvising, messing around on a tune. I haven't played that in a very long time, but I used to do it in a band. It's called Tanga. And it's from 1942. Machito, he was an Afro-Cuban artist, kind of, jazz, Latin jazz, that was starting to become very popular in the 40s in this country, and then the 50s and the 60s, and it just grew and grew and grew. C chord and a B flat chord, and B flat is really just a C chord down 2 frets. Let's look at that first chord, C. You've got 5th fret on your G string. I'm using my low G ukulele today, but this sounds great on a high G ukulele too. Then you play the 4th fret on your C string with your middle finger. That 5th fret note on the G string, that's your 3rd finger. And then we bar. We do just a slight flattening of the 1st finger so that it covers both the E and the A strings at the 3rd fret. A fully fretted, up the neck, barred C chord. This should be the first up the neck chord you learn if you're a ukulele player that has only done open chords thus far and are looking to venture into up the neck chords. I highly recommend this as your first one. I use this every day. This is an extremely useful chord. Sounds a little different from our open C. Here's open C. Beautiful, ringy, chimey, but up the neck C, a little more focused, a little easier to do complex rhythms with because it doesn't have that same ring. And so that's the benefit of these up the neck chords. They have higher notes in them, they're higher voicings, but they also allow you to make them short to accommodate certain rhythms like Tanga. They're not ringing for a long time like an open chord would. They're ringing for a very short time. So to make your chord short, here's what you do. Once you have your fingers wrapped around that 5, 4, 3, 3 C chord, all you have to do, and I've hit on this in other videos, but I want to review this in case you've not seen any of my videos. This is super important stuff. What you do is you're pressing down on the chord with, the minimum pressure, whatever it takes to hold it down. Don't squeeze too hard. And then just release that pressure a little bit. Keep touching the strings, keep in the chord shape, just don't press down. Just barely touch the strings, and all of a sudden, musical silence. That, in a nutshell, is how to make your chord short. And that's very conducive to Latin rhythms. It's very conducive to the Diddley rhythm. It's very conducive to reggae. It's conducive to jazz, swing jazz. So let's talk about all of that. So we had that Machito song from 1942, Tanga, real catchy tune. I'll leave a link down below so you can hear it. I will also leave a link to my Patreon page where you're going to find chord diagrams. You're going to find these strums written out, all the downs and ups and the mechanics of it, chucks, whatever have you. And yeah, I'm going to make all of this available. It'll be out there. You just have to go to my Patreon page. But the link to the videos for these songs, I'll leave down below. You don't have to go anywhere off of YouTube to just hear those songs. So that was Tanga. Let us check out now, how about Tequila? You probably know that song. Da-dun, da-dun, dun, dun, da-dun, dun, dun, dun. Back in the 50s, it was common, and the early 60s, to have instrumental hits. And so this song Tequila was a great instrumental. It actually had one little vocal in it where they shout tequila, but that goes kind of like this. Dun 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 dun, saxophone doing that, dun 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 dun, etc. So Tequila was kind of a big instrumental hit way back then. And then there's another song that uses this, and that would be the song Bo Diddley by the artist Bo Diddley. That was just such an infectious rhythm that he did on his guitar.